the awakening already in progress. There is a moment in every great spiritual text, whether the Bhagavad Gita, the Sermon on the Mount, or the Kingdom of God is within you, when the words cease to be concepts and become a mirror. The reader no longer encounters ideas, but encounters themselves. This is the threshold Tolstoy has been leading us toward, not a conclusion, but an initiation. The illusion of linear time, we imagine transformation as a journey from point A to point B, but the kingdom operates differently. It is not a destination ahead, but a dimension beneath, like a river running below the surface of our awareness. Tolstoy's entire argument is that we are not waiting for the kingdom. The kingdom is waiting for us to recognize it. This changes everything: the addict's moment of clarity, the soldier's refusal to shoot, the privilege to suddenly see the suffering they once ignored. These are not gradual progressions, but sudden alignments with what was already true. The practical consequence: stop preparing to live and live. The revolution is not coming. It is here, in every act that honors the divine within another. The end of forgiveness. Tolstoy's vision renders the very concept of forgiveness obsolete, because wrongs don't matter, but because in the light of the kingdom, the offense and the offender are seen as illusions. When a man truly grasps that his enemy bears the same divine spark as himself, hatred becomes impossible. This is not cheap grace. It is the hardest work imaginable. The transformational call here is to experiment. Next time you are wronged, pause and ask, what if this person is not my enemy, but my mirror? What if their cruelty is my own blindness returned to me? This is not passivity. It is the most aggressive peace ever devised. The death that is life. All systems of power rely on our fear of death: physical, social, economic. But Tolstoy reveals the great secret. The moment we stop fearing the death of what is false reputation, possessions, even the body, we become ungovernable. This is why martyrs change the world, not because they die, but because they prove that death has no sting. The call: practice dying daily. Let go of one opinion others hold of you, one possession you cling to for status, one aspect of your identity. That isn't essential. What remains when these fall away is the indestructible self, the bearer of the kingdom, the ecology of the kingdom. Just as a forest thrives through unseen mycelial networks, the kingdom spreads through invisible connections between awakened souls. Your transformation is never just yours, sends ripples through the collective psyche. This means your moments of clarity heal ancestors you never knew. Your acts of courage empower strangers you'll never meet. Your refusal to hate disrupts timelines of violence. Yet to unfold, the call is to trust this ecology. Your small faithfulness is part of a cosmic pattern. The final invitation. Tolstoy does not end with a summation, but with a silent space, the pause between the last page and the reader's next breath. The true conclusion happens in you. Now that you've seen, will you continue pretending the prison has walls? Will you keep serving systems that demand your self-betrayal? Will you tolerate the lie that violence is inevitable? Or will you, the very day, begin the only revolution that matters, the one where you stop looking for the kingdom and become its manifestation? The kingdom is within. The time is now. The choices it always was is yours. The end of a journey such as this is not an end at all. It is a kind of returner, circling back, but from a higher vantage. Like a spiral staircase where each revolution looks familiar, yet reveals something deeper. The kingdom of God is within you does not lead us outward to conquest, but inward to revelation. And now, at the edge of this exploration, we find ourselves. Where we began, within. Leo Tolstoy did not write a book. He struck a chord in the human spirit that continues to resonate across time, unbound by language or geography. He was not content to challenge the mind, he sought to awaken the divine that slumbers at the core of every human being. And in his wake, he left no blueprint, no movement, no empire, but something far more enduring, a summons. A quiet, urgent invitation to live differently, to live truthfully, to live as if the kingdom is not merely possible, but already here. If only we would open our eyes. His vision is not the utopia of distant centuries. It is the holy possibility of now. It is not a new world order imposed from without. It is a reordering of one soul at a time, each person a luminous revolution. This is why Tolstoy speaks in such uncompromising terms, not because he demands perfection, but because he sees what is at stake. He sees the silent tragedy of humanity's sleep, the wars we endure because we fear to disobey, the violence we bless because it wears the robes of law, the suffering we normalize because care too deeply would demand everything from us. And yet, he does not shout at us. He does not scold or shame. He simply places a mirror before us, a mirror in which we glimpse not only our hypocrisy, but our hidden majesty, a mirror in which we remember who we truly are, beneath the masks and mechanisms. And in that remembrance, we are not condemned, we are called. What might it mean, then, to answer that call? It begins with silence, the silence in which conscience speaks, not the silence of avoidance, but the holy stillness that precedes transformation. In this silence, we may hear the truth we have long buried, that no institution, no ideology, no title or tribe defines us, that we are, at our essence, sacred vessels of a love so vast it needs no sword, no flag, no permission, that we have always belonged to a kingdom not of this world, a kingdom whose laws are not written in codes, but in the contours of compassion, humility, and radical forgiveness. To live in this kingdom is not to escape the world. It is to move through it with different eyes. Eyes that see the divine in every stranger. Eyes that weep for the ones who kill as much as for the ones who are killed. Eyes that do not avert themselves from suffering, but walk into it with open hands. It is to become the kind of presence that cannot be manipulated, cannot be recruited, cannot be bought, because it is governed by something incorruptible. This transformation is not achieved by effort alone. It is not something we do so much as something we allow. It begins when we stop outsourcing our moral compass, when we stop asking the state or society to tell us what is good. It begins when we dare to ask ourselves what we already know in our bones, that love is the only law worth obeying, and that no system that demands we betray that law is worthy of our allegiance. It is in the quiet refusal that we reclaim our power, refusal to hate, refusal to dehumanize, refusal to believe that might makes right. This refusal is not weakness. It is the furnace where true strength is forged. It does not scream, it stands. It does not attack, it endures. It does not conquer. In the old, weight transcends. This is not a solitary path, though it often feels lonely. Every act of conscience, no matter how small, adds light to a world drowning in shadows. Every time we forgive instead of retaliate, serve instead of exploit, tell the truth instead of comply, we plant a seed. And though the kingdom may seem hidden, the soil is fertile. The ground is waiting. Tolstoy's call is not to join a movement, but to become a movement, to be the sermon rather than preach it, to live in such a way that your very presence questions the madness of the world. This does not mean perfection. It means alignment. It means integrity. It means walking the path even when it costs us everything we once thought defined us, because what we gain is infinitely more: a life unshackled, a spirit unafraid, a heart untamed by empire. So the kingdom in the end is not a reward. It is a revelation. It is not a place we go after death. It is the truth we live when we die to illusion. It is not above or beyond. It is within, here now. Tolstoy hands us no roadmap, but something far more powerful, a torch. And with that light, we must walk our own path, through doubt, through fear, through every false voice that tells us love is not enough. And yet, always, the truth remains. The kingdom of God is within you. Let it rise. This concludes our exploration. May the seeds planted here find fertile ground in your living.